Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome to another edition of Book Review. In this afternoon, inshallah ta'ala, we are joined by a wonderful guest, an Azhar scholar in his own right, Brother Mukhtar Mahdi, who will be speaking about an interesting book titled Don't Be Envious. Assalamu alaikum, Brother Mukhtar. Thank you so much.
Assalamu wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, Brother Mike. Thank you for having me.
Brother, it's my pleasure. I would like, inshallah ta'ala, for you to begin by saying the title of this book, its author, and why you chose this book, and then we'll get into the topics which you would like to discuss, inshallah.
The title of this book is Don't Be Envious. It's published by Dar Salam, and it's done. What I love about this book, it's done by many researchers. It's not about one writer. It's a bunch of writers who did many of research before writing this book. So it's like summary of all you can get about this topic in one place.
Okay, wonderful, inshallah, great. Envy. The word envy, I guess it possibly could mean different things to different people. Can we just briefly define what do we mean by envy in order to clarify the title, then we can move forward, inshallah.
The word envy comes from a Latin word invidia, looking with malice. It's like hating what others have. It goes beyond this when you don't like when others have something, but you would like them to lose what they have. It's like loving the misfortune of others. You feel good when others lose what they have. And it's from the Arabic root word al-hasad.
Okay.
The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, says, La tahasadu, don't be envious of one another. When he was correcting and guiding the Muslim character, he chose this point to start his hadith that was said by Abu Huraira, may Allah be pleased with him, don't be envious of one another.
This is a wonderful reminder. So it must be something important,
right,
and something dangerous, that is envy. Brother, before the program you had mentioned why this topic is so important. When I asked you that, you said because it's the first sin, or one of the first sins committed by man, which resulted in the murder of a brother to another brother. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Envy, the fire within. It's not only the first sin on earth, but what brought Satan from heaven down. When we reveal the first sin committed by Satan, Allah says about this in the Quran, when he ordered and commanded Satan
to prostrate to him,
to prostrate to Adam, he felt bad, and he replied, why do you want me to prostrate to Adam? You created me from fire, it's higher than you created Adam from clay.
Right.
And that was the main reason of the confrontation we have with Satan and humanity. That was the start of it.
Right.
Envy.
Envy, okay. Excellent point, brother. I suppose that we can even speak about the story of Cain and Abel.
Right.
Which envy leading to murder.
Right. The first murder on earth was motivated by envy. The story of Cain and Abel, when they were asked to do offering to the Lord, to Allah, Cain made a better offering than Abel. No, Abel made a better offering than Cain. And Allah accepted what Abel has provided, but Cain became very envious of that. He felt down, he felt frustrated, he felt envious of his brother. And instead of correcting his offering and provide another thing that's good, he envied his brothers. Instead of trying to correct yourself to a better action, you start to feel that it's not your fault, it's others' fault. And now you want them to suffer the same you are. You want them to feel the pain in order to you to feel joy.
Yeah, okay. Now, are these stories mentioned in this book by Dar Salam?
Yes.
Okay, they mention these stories in the
okay, of course. Nobody can speak about envy, the fire within the soul, the things that destroys the character of a man, without discussing the main stories that brought Satan to earth and the main stories that started the first murder
on earth, of course. Now, you mentioned the Prophet Joseph to me, brother.
Right.
Alayhi salam. Speak about that a little bit, because of course also Prophet Joseph was, his brothers envied him as well, and it resulted in a tragedy for his
Right.
family, which eventually ended in a, mashallah, in a wonderful way. But can you talk a little bit about that and what the book mentions regarding that?
When you come to the story of Joseph, the king of dreams, and his brother who envied him, and his brother, because Yaqub alayhi salam had two brothers from one woman and the other brothers from another woman. So these brothers were envying this, and the Quran saying in this manner, قال يا بني لا تقصص رؤياك على إخوتك فيكيد لك كيدا. Oh my son, don't tell your vision or the dream to your brothers, so not they will envy you, as a shaitan, as a Satan, is vowing enemy of human.
Okay.
And then the Quran completes, and the brothers of Yusuf saying, of Joseph saying, قالوا يا أبانا ما لك لا تأمنا على يوسف وإنا له لحافظون. When they started to feel that they have to do something to revenge for their brother having more love from their father,
Right.
they asked their father to take Joseph for a journey. And then they throw them in a well and sold him into slavery to Egypt. And that was a turning point in the story. But it was motivated by envy. Envy of brothers. And now we see envy between a wife and her husband. We see envy between the same family. Envy is not only destroying the soul, but it destroys the faith. Because think of it, you are not accepting what God has offered to others. So you are questioning God's wisdom.
Yes.
Why others have this? If only I had what they have. Why they have more than I have.
Right.
And the other thing is that it destroys your capability of your thinking of yourself. You see yourself below than others,
Yes.
and you think, I'm not capable of doing this. So you get down. And instead of being motivated to do more, and instead of feeling that you should have another goal, a higher goal for yourself, you start thinking, if only they lose it, if only they lose that car in a crash, if only she lose that great son in an accident or something.
Yeah.
So criminal psychologists say that the very most important motives they look for when murders or validations or vandalism take place, they start with envy.
Brother, actually, why don't we speak about culture and how this plays an effect? Because people from culture to culture do have a different understanding of envy. And I do find people in certain cultures do practice envy more, or they're more aware of envy. That's perhaps we can put it that way. So go ahead, brother.
Culture and education plays a huge role in how people represent envy and how people accept others' fortune or misfortune. If the society is giving more attention to people who have positions, people who have more status than others, so people tend to look at these people as they are very good and feel that they are very bad. It's the same in education, in a school or in a parenting, when father compare a child to another and he tells him, look what your brother is doing. He's getting A's in every exam. He is behaving good with his mother. That could start unconsciously an envy between brother and his brother, or in the society itself. And in each society, you feel like people try to protect themselves differently from envy.
Right.
In the Middle East, they see envy as the evil eye, the thing that will crack the stone, right? And the way to protect yourself from envy is to look back with a charming eye. It's like you giving him more fire to eat himself.
Okay.
They put a hand with an eye in it,
Yes.
an eye in it, and this is how they protect themselves from
They
envy.
believe. Can I tell you a quick story? I'm sorry. My
Okay,
little
no
sister
problem.
bought a new car. And I said, great. And there was a huge blue and white and blue eye hanging from the rearview mirror. So I said, who bought you this? Why'd you put this in the car? She said, who else would buy it? Grandma.
Exactly. It's a culture, and it's transmitting from generation to generation.
But this is a belief to protect themselves before the evil eye attacks them.
Right.
Okay. Perhaps we can take a short break and discuss this more, how this plays an effect regarding culture, and talk about science as well, and then we can move to our final topic, inshallah, which is preventing that from happening, inshallah. You guys stay tuned for more book review with Brother Mukhtar Mahdi. We're discussing a wonderful book called Don't Be Envious, published by Dar Salam Publications, you guys, so stay tuned. Assalamu alaikum rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome back to Book Review. Don't be envious, you guys. That is our topic. We're joined with the Azhar scholar, Brother Mukhtar Mahdi. Thank you so much, Brother Mukhtar.
Thank you for having me, Brother Malik.
Well, it's my pleasure. Before the break, we talked about some funny and comical things that people do because they have cultural beliefs that they believe this will protect them from the evil eye, like hanging a hand with the evil eye on it. Some people bring a small copy of the Quran, hang it around. Of course, we've heard our shaykh say many times, this stuff doesn't work, don't do it. But in any event, we're speaking about culture, from culture to culture. So here in the Middle East, these are the cultural practices that protect you from the evil eye.
Right.
I do believe in the Western, by the way, in the Western world, I don't find this as much, although people perhaps are envious, perhaps they're unaware of it. I'm not quite sure, but you see these practices more here.
It's everywhere around the world. As we talked earlier, criminal psychologists look for envy as a motive, especially in vandalism. If you feel like your neighbor is getting a new car, you feel like I should have that new car. If he's getting a new job, better jobs than you are, you feel I should have had this. I am better than him. Why he had that and I didn't have it? And it moves from only the fire eating you to actions. When you try to destroy what he have to feel the joy, envy drives hatred, joy and pleasement at your neighbor's misfortune. And it goes farther, and it's best explained by a famous writer saying, whenever my friend succeed, I feel there is something dies inside of me. So it's turning around the world. There's the backbiting. It's also a form of envy. It's not only you hate others and resent what others have.
But you want to destroy it.
You want to destroy it. You want to take action to destroy what they have, and you feel bad when they have more. And instead of correcting yourself and try to have what they have or maybe better than them.
Now, is this something that happens naturally in the human being, or is this within our control and we can prevent ourselves from feeling this terrible feeling of envy? That's my question, brother, because it seems like I believe it's in our control, and that naturally you will feel envy, but you should stop it immediately when you feel it. What do the scientists say about this, brother?
Science actually still has a debate between are we wired to envy, or it's something that we can have under control. And there are two interesting studies I remember when we speak about envy. First is they made a survey of a group of people and they asked them two questions. Would you rather have a 50,000 a year and everyone around you having 25, or having 100,000 and everybody around you having 200?
Where was the study taken? I really like this. It's a really nice study.
It was in America.
Subhanallah. Okay, go ahead.
And the money has the same value. Everything is the same. What do you think people would choose?
I would hope that they were going to say 100,000 and say, alhamdulillah, people have more around me. That's great. You would hope.
Actually, most of people would chose number one.
Subhanallah.
To have 50,000, but everyone else is having 25.
So they
exactly. It shows us how how everything is related to the people around us. How we relate what we have to others in order to feel joy or to feel bad, in order to feel that we are achieving something or not. It's like the culture of comparing one to another. And the other study they did, it's on monkeys.
Yes.
If we show the...
I wish we could show it, inshallah.
They brought two monkeys. Each of them were assigned the same assignment, get paid the same payment.
What do you mean assignment? And they were in cages? Or
they were in a cage, and they were given a spoon. When they give back the spoon, they take a cucumber.
So the woman handed them a stone.
Right.
They take the stone and they hand it back to her.
Exactly. And when they handed it back,
they give them a cucumber.
She gives them a cucumber.
Okay, one by one.
One by one, they do it and they see each other.
Okay.
They did it 30 times on the row,
Yeah.
so they felt good with the payment. They didn't have any problem with the assignment. And they started to change the reward, the payment. So one monkey were getting the same cucumber that he accepted for 30 times, but the other one was getting a grape, a beautiful red grape.
Yeah.
The other one, what do you think he did? He got envy. He felt this is not fair. I should have better than him. I'm doing the same thing. He refused the cucumber, and the way he behaved is like a little child behaving.
So what
it's
did he
very
do?
human.
He
threw the cucumber back. He refused to take it, and he tried the next assignment in hope that he will get the grape. He felt bad. He felt very angry. He felt envious of the other one. It's the same. He was taking the same for the same assignment, and he was pleased with it. But now it's not.
Yeah, because we can see, subhanAllah, even monkeys are rejecting this unfair treatment. However, it leads to envy of one towards the other. Back to the first study, a person, according to the study, would rather give up 1/4 or half of their money.
Right.
They would
rather take 50,000
instead of 100,000.
Instead of 100,000, but the others around him take 25, take less than him, and instead of take more.
So isn't this a disease of the heart, brother? I mean, this is incredible.
Right.
What is your opinion about this? Because this is something that really shows the pettiness of the human being,
right,
and is really a terrible characteristic to demonstrate.
Right. The Prophet, peace be upon him, says, envy eats the heart like a fire eats a dry wood.
Subhanallah.
It's a disease of the heart, a disease of the soul that only affects you before it affects others. Because you could envy me for 30 years and I don't know. You are the ones that is eating yourself, destroying your soul, destroying the beauty that you have toward the world. And one important thing I would like to do, I actually have a beautiful definition I love about envy. It's like the look in an old woman's eye to a young lady. If you take this look, you will feel exactly how people envy one another.
Right, because as if she would like to be in her position again.
Right. If you remember the fairy tale of Snow White, when she look in the mirror and say, "Mirror, mirror in the wall, who is the fairest of them all?" And the mirror each time tells her, "You are the best." But once she knew that there is another beautiful woman that's more beautiful than her, she turned it in colors and she hated this very much. And she started trying what? Not to make herself better, but to destroy the other one.
Like and as you said, it destroys yourself, because we have an expression in the States where we say someone would rather cut their nose off to spite their face, so they will harm themselves in order to harm. They will harm someone else, even if they have to harm themselves in the meantime. We only have a couple more minutes, brother, but I did want to mention what do the authors of this book, the researchers at Dar Salam Publications who published this book, Don't Be Envious, what are some treatments that they can provide in order to prevent people from being envious of others? Because as you said, it destroys yourself. And also, if you feel like you're being envied, what can you do?
The first thing, how could you treat yourself from envy? And if you go back how the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, guided us and dealt with this, he instructed us, as in the Quran says, وَلَوْلَا إِذْ دَخَلْتَ جَنَّتَكَ قُلْتَ مَا شَاءَ اللَّهُ لَا قُوَّةَ إِلَّا بِاللَّهِ, even to fear that you will envy yourself. So when you see someone have another thing that's beautiful, instead of envying him, you accept God's wisdom of distributing of wealth and possessions and beauty, and you say, MashaAllah. It's like a code word of I accept God's will and I don't envy you. Right. So if you have a good car, a new car, I would come to you and say, this is a new car, this is a good car, MashaAllah.
Yes, yes, thank you, brother. Because when I see people greet people with something, even perhaps a new car, as you mentioned, or they have a child, and they greet them without saying any kind of dua or supplication in order to verify, hey, look, I just made a dua for myself and you included, so that you feel comfortable and that I'm not envy and jealous of you and I wish the best for you. And I'm amazed to see that envy exists, because Allah has provided is capable of providing for everyone. There's enough to go around for everyone. So this is something that we definitely need to take care about, inshallah ta'ala. Brother, where can the people find the book at home if they would like to get a copy of it, or is it available online?
Yeah, it's available online, and they can buy it from the publisher, Dar es Salaam.
Okay, and where did you come across the book? During your studies, or just free reading, or?
Actually, I was studying the basic emotions that makes people commit evil, and that it changes the character. The emotions and the feelings that started shaping and modeling our character, and how it affects our behavior. Because it's not only starting how we feel, but it pushes you to take action.
Right.
And when we study motivation, it's something that we need to be aware of, not to make people envy, but to make people want to have like you have, maybe more.
In a positive way.
Yeah, in a positive way.
Yeah.
It's like feeling you have the capability to have, if he had it, I could have more. This is a proof that I could do it. I might do it myself.
Sure.
So think of it as a positive thing. When you look to someone who have a fortune, who have a good thing, say mashallah, and praise in yourself that you have the ability to have what he have, and maybe have another thing better than him. And the important thing is to feel satisfaction with what you have.
Thank you, brother. Barakallahu feek. And also, we have to keep in mind, perhaps sometimes less is a blessing from Allah, and perhaps the person who has more will experience more problems. Now, we don't want that for them, but we don't understand the wisdom behind what Allah has allocated for every person. We only have about a minute left, brother. Class envy, we didn't talk about it that much. Now the political situation in the Middle East is very turbulent. Do you anticipate some class envy where the people here are now continuing to suffer with unstable governments, where they see the people at the top, the millionaires that we see, the businessmen? Do you see the future turmoil or instability as a result of this kind of class envy?
Some literatures spoke more about the motive for revolution, to the extent that they said revolution started when people when the misfortunate felt envy of the fortunate, so they tried to take that away from them. And that you see in the revolution's history, that they feel good when the people with fortune goes down, even if they don't have fortune.
Yeah, subhanAllah. Hey, Barakallahu feek, brother, I certainly appreciate your time. I look forward to having you back on future episodes, inshallah. And you guys at home, thank you for watching Book Review. Get online and check this book out, published by the good brothers at Dar es Salaam Publications. Don't be envious. Until next time, I leave you in the care of Allah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.